Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? I'm very happy that you give me the opportunity to share my light and love with you, and I'm grateful for these sessions in which we come together to unify ourselves in our wisdom, in our search of life, in what we have with one another, which is our divine self. This evening topic is about embracing and developing our intuitive self. Our intuitive self is the inner guide that we call the GPS that communicates with us. It protects us from danger. It helps us to make better decisions. It brings clarity to our questions. It directs us to the paths that we need to walk through. And most of all, it reveals our purpose and mission in life. Our intuition is constantly speaking to us at all times. But unfortunately, when we get caught up with the stress of our material world, we are not able to hear our intuition because a distracted mind can never be in tuned with an intuitive mind because the vibrational energies are not a match to one another. This goes for any vibrational energies that are not compatible to one another, cannot connect to each other. Intuition doesn't tell us what we want to hear. It tells us what we need to hear. When we receive an intuitive communication, it does not go around the bush. It is not foggy or cloudy. It is direct, it's loud, it's clear. It's like a sharp feeling that happens in a fraction of a second that releases an answer, a clarity, or a direction on what we are asking. In other words, it's a flash of inspiration coming from our higher self, or we call our soul self. So these feelings that are communicating with us are transcending their vibration to the human personality. Some people call the intuition the sixth sense, which is the ability to know something directly from our inner being without using any logical reasoning. Intuition is the gap between the conscious and the unconscious parts of us. Our natural state is that we are an intuitive being that never dies. Our soul is the real, true version of who we are. But unfortunately, we have conditioned ourselves to live in our brain, rationalizing everything, that we have forgotten who we really are. The purpose of intuition is to guide us to return to our authentic self, which we call the divine self, our innate divinity. As well, it unfolds the spirit potentials and abilities that we own in our spiritual identity. Each one of us is unique and have different levels of awareness. Some may have a great visioning skill. They could see details in scenes and meaning on what happens. Some others can hear guidance being spoken to them or sent as a thought form to the brain, which we call telepathic communication between the soul and the physical body. Many can feel and know something before it is physically manifested. But we need to understand that there is a difference between the inner and outer abilities. It can be compared to an individual who can draw so beautifully and the one who practices to become the artist, or the person who has a talent for composing music and the other who practices to compose music. As well, someone who is born a medium and the other who is practicing to become one. Some people that I have spoken to have confusion as to what intuition and what instincts are. They are not the same. Instincts are connected to our brain and released through the five senses, which are taste, smell, touch, sight, and sounds. Our instincts are like receptors that releases information to our brain. Then the brain analyzes it and sends feelings to our senses that we pick up as instincts. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. So instincts can be very helpful, but not always. Our instincts can help us to avoid dangerous situations. As well, yes, general questions like, what dress am I going to wear today? Should I stay in this relationship or not? Or when we go to purchase an item at the store, there are many items that are the same but made from different manufacturers. You get an instinct to choose the one that you like based on what makes you feel good. Our instincts always will answer us through a gut feeling. That gut vibrational energy is not the same as the intuitive gut feeling. The intuitive signs manifests in many ways. They come through a form of a song. You hear certain words in the song that releases clues or inspirations. Or when someone is speaking to you, you get a chill that runs down your body. Or you receive a flash of inspiration to an answer, to a direction. You also receive it through dreams, daydreaming, when we are between the two worlds, like our body is here, a part of our mind is here, but the other part of our brain is spaced out. You are receiving that intuitive communication. Or you may find that there are sensations as changes to your temperature. Your body may all of a sudden become warm or cold. You are receiving something that you are need to look into the vibrational energy as what you are talking about to yourself or to other people. It's giving you an answer. Sudden palpitation in the heart. All of a sudden it's like you are connected to your higher self, and your higher self is saying something to you, but your mind is too busy and you can't grasp it. So all you need to do is just quiet the mind, or you're getting a feeling on your chest that is heavy or that it is light. Intuition can also come as thought forms, impressions, visions within our mind, emotions, and certain knowingness that you cannot doubt in. We need to trust ourselves in order to have intuitive abilities. Without trust, we block our abilities. Intuition is an ability that can be compared to a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it becomes. When I began my spiritual journey 46 years ago, my spiritual doorkeeper told me that I needed to have confidence in my spiritual communication that I would be receiving. As well, I needed to trust myself. It wasn't easy for me then to trust myself, but through my personal growth, I slowly began to trust myself, and slowly everything in my life started to shift for the better. Of course, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to develop the trust by listening to our intuition. Although I still feel, although I still face many challenges and always will, because they will be with us until we graduate from this earthly world. But I have learned to be more confident in how I navigate through my challenges. Life is all about finding balance and synchronicity with our body, mind, and soul. When I first began the journey of spiritual reawakening, my doorkeeper said exactly these words: "You go to school to acquire knowledge, but you go to your soul to acquire wisdom." Because only our soul has what it takes for us to become better, more mature, evolved, and to be able to return to our original state. I would like to share some pointers on what blocks our intuition. I am sure that many of you have endless ideas, but these are just few of my pointers. Relying on our logical mind to help us to make right decisions, to ask for guidance in our journey, and guide us in our action. Our rational mind only knows what we have learned. It does not give us what we are, what we hold within our spiritual self. Negative thinking of all sorts, negative speaking, negative actions, not believing and trusting ourselves, living from the emotions which we call the ego, instead living from our heart, placing too much emphasis on what others think about, and choosing to live a life that pleases others rather than pleases our higher self. Not expressing our true feelings when we are in a moment that we need to share what we feel is right, and you're holding your feelings in because you doubt in yourself and you don't want to make a mockery of yourself in front of others because you are afraid of others, how they choose to see you or judge you. Limitations and barriers that we have created through fears, insecurities, lack of self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, and self-acceptance, self-judgment and self-criticism blocks our intuition. And there's so much more. As I repeat, all negative lower vibrations that are not compatible to our spiritual nature blocks aspects of ourselves in our multi-dimensional being. So, how can we connect and magnify our intuitive ability? The first thing I believe that what I was taught was let go of everything that doesn't make you happy. Then quiet your mind from all the chit chat that your mind is releasing because you have given it the control to be in the driver's seat of your body. Then you keep your focus on the moment, but not going back to yesterday and not going into the future as to create your insecurities or what you're going to do tomorrow when tomorrow has yet not been created. Daily meditations, they are the link that creates our human form with our spiritual self. And always, whenever you have to make a decision, and that you are in a crossroad in your life, and that whatever guidance that you may feel that you may need of, always invite your higher self to your personality level. Because this shows that you would like the participation of the true you going through your earthly adventure, because it has divine truth and clarity as to which roads you are to take and which roads you are to block. So every time we need something, whether it be spiritual, mental, emotional, or physical, invite your higher self in those moments. Then keep focus on who you really are. Whatever happens during the day and the challenges that we all meet, take a deep breath and think, who am I? Where do I come from? And what do I choose to do? That helps us to maintain the focus of the alignment between the personality and the higher self. One of the biggest things that I had faults in, that I was told over and over by my spiritual teachers, is appreciate yourself even when you failed, knowing that you did the best that you could in all roles or projects of your life. Respect life and everyone in it, including yourself. All positive energies amplify our potentials and our abilities. Each time that we choose to meditate, many people may not be aware of it as others are. Each meditation has to have an intention and a purpose as to why you are doing it. In this case, all right, we are asking to develop the potential of our intuitive faculties. In other meditations, you want to develop your unconditional love. You want to develop your positive thinking and reaction. So every time we set an intention, the higher realms connects with us, and it works with that intention, and it amplifies the vibrational energy so that it stays focused to the intention and it doesn't get scattered with many other things that we want to do. We need to ask one thing at a time. And when you are in that meditative state, always remember, I call forth my intuitive self, the higher me, into my physical body. And when you do that, all you need to do after is observe your thoughts. As well, observe your feelings. In meditation, there is no talking. There is plain silence. If you keep talking, you stay grounded on the lower realms of consciousness. When you allow yourself to be in silent, you are allowing yourself to go into deeper state of consciousness. So when you are observing without thinking, but you are observing your thoughts and observing the feelings that you are feeling, and the moment that you find yourself that you are at peace, in the beginning, I would always ask a simple question that will give me an answer to yes or no. You ask that question to your higher self 3 times, pausing at each repeat. Because as we're speaking, there are fractions of our thoughts that are drifting away to other thoughts. So in order to keep the focus and the concentration on the thought, our repetition keeps the alignment between the conscious and the unconsciousness. When you believe you have received an answer, then you ask yourself these words: is this the message of what I need? Or is it the vibration of what I want in my personality? This will help you to create the foundation so that discernment will come into focus as to distinguish the various vibrational energy as to where they're coming from. As we train our meditative states, we become more receptive, and then we could ask deeper questions because we have a certain trust and confidence of knowing of that we are receiving. Don't feel worried if you don't get anything in meditation. You didn't get an answer. Don't be concerned. Don't tell yourself that maybe you did something wrong or you missed out on something. Remember that what you may have missed will repeat itself in your next meditation, and in your next meditation, and in your next meditation. As you master your meditations, your ability in discerning the qualities of energies, of where they come from, will automatically unfold themselves. The ability to discern is achieved through wisdom and through personal growth. No one can help you on this but yourself. And that is what I had to learn. That when I was having direct communication with my spiritual teachers or guides, it was so easy because I would be repeating what they were saying. But as my mediumship moved forward into the higher realms of soul intuitive communication, I had to learn those vibrations. I had to pay attention as to be alert as to where they were coming from. I know that my higher self was always assisting me. We know that we're never left alone, but we need to do the work that it takes in order for us to go to the next level. We are also aware that there are many states of consciousness that we enter into a meditative state. The beta state, which is the normal state of consciousness. The alpha, I call it the alter state, which is the same thing, is the relaxed awareness in meditation where you feel relaxed. You feel nothing is bothering you. You feel as if you're floating. Nothing is, you're not receiving anything, but you're feeling light-headed. But this is the state in which we tune in to our sensitivities, to our intuitive self. It is in this state that we learn to feel or analyze the vibrations of other people, the vibrations of our intuitive self. In this state is where the learning becomes more real in order to progress into the next state, which is the theta state. That is a deeper state of meditation. That is when we are in our dreams. We are realizing that we see ourselves as a spirit. We know where we are. We see the people that have gone before us. We may visit many realms of communities and receive insights through our soul self. That state is part of our soul connection with our human brain. And then we go to that state of consciousness, which is the theta, which is the delta. And that delta state is a state of transcendental meditation. It is a deep contact or connection with our mind, soul, and higher self. In those states, everything that we experience on the other side is so real. We begin to accept that our out-of-body experiences in that state of consciousness is the reality of our life. And that when we come out of that state of consciousness, we feel that the life that is surrounding us, that we are in touch with other lower consciousness, is a dream. So this is where we need to go into becoming our true spirit self. It is the delta state where I, the soul, is recognizing in my deep state of consciousness my spiritual awareness or self. But we know that all of these state of awarenesses, they develop with practice. So as we learn to practice more our meditation, we become more in charge of our meditation, and we become more still. So let it come naturally. There's nothing that you can do to modify it except be with it, Keep practicing, keep doing what you need to do. And as you do that, then the natural flow of the life energy will enter into the lower realms of your being. We must remember or realize that our intuitive self is constantly flowing through us while we are working, while we are playing, while we are resting, while we are walking. As long as we keep harmony and balance, we are connected to our soul self, which is the intuitive mind. So let us just allow ourselves to improve our work by being more constant at what we need to do. Many people are looking for the quick fix, the quick shift. It doesn't happen. It has taken me 46 years to be where I am. And if I would have to repeat these 46 years, I will do so. Because where I am is the best moment of my life than all other moments that I have lived. But we must be patient and persistent. So the choice is really up to us, and no one can do the work that we need to do for ourselves. So intuition develops on its own. I never sat for development. I never sat for clairvoyance or mediumship. It happens automatically as you bring a will of what you want to do, and from that will, you work within your personal responsibilities to amplify the energies. That's all that is required of us, is to have the preparation of want, will, desire, and be open-minded, and the rest is the soul us that is doing the work through our personality level. So I hope that in my description of what the intuitive self is about has given you some small insight for you to be able to be more sharpened in your intuitive potential and ability. So do what you have to do, let go, and let your higher self work with you in collaboration, and then you will know that you are climbing upward or ascending your energy and experiencing the most deepest parts of your inner being. So thank you. If in any way my interpretation has given you some foggy understanding, I would like to open this moment as to ask your questions and your answers. So just let me know.